Hey, Green Team, what's happening? Nice to be hanging out with you today. And today I'm doing a live event for our podcast. And I want to share something really important with you. And this is something that I learned. I'm going to tell you a couple of different things that I learned from some of the big guys out there in social media. So some of the tips are from Mr. Beast and some are from Russell Brunson. But before I get into that, I want to tell you why this is important. So, if you've ever done something, had a meeting, tried to do something, and people didn't show up, then you're just like, well, what the heck? What is the point in doing all this? And I've had so many experiences like that, including writing entire books that almost nobody found out about or read. And so it doesn't matter if what you're doing is really great if you can't figure out how to get your message out there. So I really recommend studying digital marketing and the different folks that are out there marketing in general, because I know if you're thinking about the environment and you're thinking that, well, I'm too pure for all that, that's great, but you still need to understand how humans think and how you can reach people. So one of the tips that I teach is to, as you're getting going, to identify 10 exemplary models. So it doesn't matter what you're doing. Let's say that your idea is, I don't know, you want to start an eco club at your school. So instead of just plodding away and doing whatever comes to mind, instead, you can go and Google for award-winning school eco clubs, um, international school eco clubs, best school eco clubs, green teams for schools. You can see what the sustainability award winners are in your town. You can just, what you want to do is find out who are the who's doing world-class effort in the thing that you're wanting to do. And oh man, we have so much traffic. I'm going to close the window, see if that helps. I think that's a little better. um, Anyhow, so the whole idea is that if you want to make a difference, just start by figuring out how somebody else is already doing it and model what they're doing. When I first learned about this idea, it was through Russell Brunson, and he calls it funnel hacking. So if you want to sell an online course on parenting, then go find out what the other courses are that are doing on parenting. Find out what their messaging is, what their price points are, and really what you're doing is you're benefiting from their research of figuring out what works. So the first one that I want to show you about is Mr. Beast. So when we had some folks who are doing big tree planting projects. And so when we were going through this process, I started searching, okay, well, who has planted the most trees? Like who's really kicking butt at doing this? So I'm going to share my screen here. And so one of them that I found was Team Trees. And what Team Trees has done is Team Trees succeeded in raising money to plant 20 million trees, and they did it in 8 weeks. So when you have this idea of like, oh, I wonder if we could plant 100 trees this year, when you study the people that are really kicking butt, then you're like, wait, they raised money for 20 million trees in 8 weeks? And what that does is it expands your vision of what's possible because somebody's already done it. So when you look at how they did this is all important stuff. So one of the things that they do, there's other folks out there that say, give money to plant trees. But what they do is they say, how many trees do you want to plant? So do you want to plant 5 trees? Do you want to plant 50 trees? So they're not saying, do you want to give a donation of $5 or $50? So the wording that they're using is really important, right? And then they're also using this really simple, beautiful graphic where they're just showing people running. You'll notice a lot of it's not just planting trees, right? It's people enjoying trees, being out in nature. So they're giving a very positive vibe. A lot of the environmental messaging is very negative. And, it's just like if you come across a picture from like war or something, if you're felt with left with thinking, well, what can I do about this? You just feel bad. But if you're something like this, that's, the point is maybe to address climate change, to do reforestation, because forests have been wiped out, but they're not dwelling on that part. They're showing you what you can do and how great it feels, right? This is the vibe that you get from that. I have no idea what the outer space guy and the rocket, how that goes together. But so that simple graphic. And then another thing that they do here is they show you who has participated. So and then they're giving they have a leaderboard. So this is cool. If you're doing a tree planting project, you could do something similar, having a leaderboard. And even people that just plant one tree and it's anonymous, it still shows up there. But other ones have little messages about improving our ecosystem or a good deed for my future child, maybe my future children. Hopefully this little guy gets big for the tree planting. And then they also have their, is this their Twitter? Looks like maybe their Twitter feed is also on here to show something, that something's happening. Okay, so that's team trees. So how did they do it? So that was the next part of the research, is just finding out. So what I did next was I started researching. I searched for marketing analysis, team trees, and I read a bunch of articles and found out the way that they did it was this guy, Mr. Beast Donaldson, had 20 million subscribers on his YouTube channel. And somebody said, hey, and usually he does something to celebrate a milestone like that. So someone suggested, hey, why don't you plant 20 million trees? And so he decided, yeah, why don't I do that? And so he started on that idea, and he teamed up with one other guy. I don't know if I can see his name here. He's a scientist. Mark Tober, I think. Anyhow, so yeah, Mark Rober, a former NASA engineer. And, they were saying, okay, this isn't going to solve climate change by itself, we know, but it's a start. It's something that we can do together. And so what they did was they went out and they recruited 400 YouTubers, so other influencers. And then they had this idea, how about if we all announce the challenge, this idea of this Team Trees challenge to plant 20 million trees? What if we announce it all on the same day at the exact same time? And so when I thought about that, I was like, I wonder how I can use that information. So I'm just going to show you a little bit of what I have now for the 2020 International Climate Action Challenge. And I'm still working on this, but you can see I thought, okay, I want people to have that same really positive vibe about what they can be doing. And so, so the idea of the Climate Action Challenge is that in conjunction with marketing my book, I also want people, I don't want people to either not find the book or find the book and not act on it. That's the heartbreaking thing. So I'm using what I know from wellness coaching and from marketing, that people need deadlines, they need support, and they need some excitement around actually taking action. So I am emulating a little bit of what I saw on the Team Trees website by setting it up this way. And then the next thing that I'm doing, so another person that I've learned a lot from is Russell Brunson. And Russell Brunson is this amazing digital marketer. So if you ever want to learn anything about marketing, he's got a bunch of podcasts and all kinds of cool stuff. But one thing that I participated in was called the One Funnel Away Challenge. And what this was basically, in some regards, this was Russell selling a book. He has a One Funnel Away, or 30 days. What is it called? One Funnel Away, like 30, it was the 30-day, if you lost everything, what would you do in 30 days? So something like that. Like, how would you start your business if you only had 30 days? And if you had 30 days, but no other resources. So the One Funnel Away challenge, what happened in that challenge is that you signed up for the challenge with the intention of building out your marketing funnel in this 30-day period. And part of what you got was this book, this 30-day challenge book. So the other thing, so that's what I was thinking about too, was that if I want to be marketing my book, so my book is called, this upcoming book is called Climate Action Challenge. And so I named it, thinking about what I learned from the One Funnel Away Challenge, is I could have just called it Climate Action Strategies. But if by calling it Climate Action Challenge, a proven plan for launching your eco initiative in 90 days, and then holding a challenge to launch the initiative in 90 days, then that gives it that excitement, and also gives me the feeling that more people are actually going to take it up and use the important stuff that I've figured out there that's actually going to help you make a difference. So let's see. So the other thing that I'm doing based on the things that I've learned, so I told you that for the Team Trees Challenge, they reached out and they got 400 YouTubers. Well, I don't really know a lot of YouTubers. So what I'm doing is reaching out and recruiting 100 ambassadors and mentors. And these are people that are passionate about the environment. And so if you're interested, then head over to climateactionchallenge.net partners, and you can find out how to join us. Our next meeting is on Thursday, July 9th, but we meet every 2 weeks. So if you've missed that one, you can join us the next time. But yeah, so what I'm doing is recruiting mentors and ambassadors from around the world. So right now, what do we have? Looks like we've got 15 countries represented. And in Albania, it's a 16-year-old girl that I spoke to the other day. In India, there's a guy there that is willing to help with project management, and another one who has expertise in tree planting. And in Nigeria, I've got a woman who is an elementary school teacher who started an NGO, and all the members in her nonprofit, her environmental nonprofit, are kids. And so the kids have these leadership roles, and they've been figuring out how to do tree planting projects even during COVID through this befriend a tree idea, where she called up her class kids and said, hey, would you like to have a friend? If so, you can come and have this tree seedling planted at your house, and now you have a new friend. So there's just people all around the world that are passionate about the environment, that have access to people that I don't have access to. And yet I have information that they don't have. And so by working together, then we're doing this climate action challenge. And another thing that we're doing is trying to make it really fun and exciting. So in December, we'll be featuring some of those projects that make progress throughout this. So let's see. So I think that's kind of those are the main things that I wanted to tell you as we're, as you're thinking through, how do I make a big impact? Don't start off being an actor. Don't start off with the action. Instead, start out as a researcher. Go out there and find who is doing the thing that you want to do and who is doing the best in the world, and find out what is their messaging, what are their graphics, what's the vibe when you get, how do they say things, what is their price points, who are their funders, where are they getting their money? And by doing that, you'll be able to figure out how to design a very successful program for yourself, and down to the whole point of this is making a big impact fast. All right. So if you're interested in joining us, being one of the mentors or ambassadors, then head over to climateactionchallenge.net/partners. And also, if you want to be one of the challengers, if you have an idea that's in your head, you want to get it out into the world, the registration for that starts July 31st. All right. And so thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And remember, the time for action is now, because there is no planet B. Have a great day. Bye.